which is like Sabine, like go to talk to Sabine, then that whole interaction happens, and then it cuts to the scene where Ahsoka's meditating, and then you go to see like she finally understands what has been going on, and Sabine and Ahsoka have that mature relationship again. Like the pieces just connect, and they're like their relationship between master and apprentice is like reforged, basically.
Yeah, it just hurt that it almost felt like in like that third and fourth episode that Ahsoka didn't want Ezra. Like it almost felt the way she's like, oh, if Thrawn's coming back, like it was almost like I'd rather have no good or no bad versus good and bad to come from this thing. Mm-hmm. So rather prevent everything than deal with both. And so like obviously as plot immunity would go to show, then nothing can happen to Ahsoka, but also like we were if at some point Ezra's going to show up, right? And so it worked out in that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that big conversation you were leaning into this was probably arguably my favorite part of the episode. Sabine goes out to talk to Ahsoka on the wing of the ship while they're, hovering with the little nomad people. Mm-hmm. And they, it's them reconciling after, Sabine thought she killed her, and they have this big fight, killing off these troopers, and they finally have a moment to, like, chill. And Sabine apologizes, which is not a Mandalorian thing. You don't ever really hear her apologize more than maybe 3 times in the entire Rebels show. Mm-hmm. Genuinely. And to hear Ahsoka accept it, but without saying, I accept your apology, and tell her about... She pretty much tells us about what happened in Season 5 of Clone Wars. You guys want to take it from there?
I mean, yeah, I think the whole thing is, like, she realizes, again, Ahsoka has come on this journey of, like, I've walked out on so many things, and even when I was at my wit's end and, no one believed in me, Anakin was there, right? And Anakin believed in me, right? When she was framed for bombing the Jedi Temple, right? Like, the entire council turned against her, right? Yoda, Windu, like, all these guys. Plo Koon, right? Who found her,
Plo Koon.
And so all these people, turn against her based on this evidence, but who, like, always had faith in her? Anakin, right? And who was out there, like, trying to clear her name was Anakin. And so, she comes to this realization, and she says, Sabine, like, my master always had my back, and, like, I really haven't always had your back, but, like, I'm a new person, right? Like, I got you now, like, maybe this wasn't, like, maybe getting to this point, we didn't do the right things, but, like, from here on out, like, I'm with you, whatever you decide, that's what we're doing, I'll have your back.
And she talked a lot about, like, no one understood my decisions except for my master.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that gave the vibe of Ahsoka saying, I know exactly why you did what you did, and New Republic doesn't know. They're not going to ever understand that, but I do. And, I mean, I would argue Hera knew. That's my argument, is that Hera is going to know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, no way, like, another symbolism of this, Kanan knew exactly what Ezra was going to do in Season 4 finale Rebels. Like, that was, like, the whole plan. Like, one last lesson, like, how are you going to propel the rebellion by, like, using yourself? Like, what are you going to do,
Right. Are you willing to make
the sacrifice? Yeah.
Right, and I agree. Like, I think it's so, like, in that part too, just about, like, Ahsoka and Anakin's relationship, comparing it to Sabine's. But it's just interesting because you just see the depth that they are willing to make, and further along in the episode we'll talk about it. That ends up causing a very, like, granted, like, Sabine had she had to make a quick choice, right, later on in the episode. But because of this conversation, it caused her to choose one choice over the other. Mm-hmm. And so, we'll talk about that later on. But I just thought that was super cool.